Hello all, this is Miss Ross and I'm going to make a video about how I recommend that you use Google Email and Calendar this year in distance learning. This is how I'm recommending it for my students, but if you like how you're already using it, I'm just going to show you some tricks. If you're comfortable and you're confident with the email system, go right ahead. If you're not one of my students, maybe your teacher's just sharing this video out, a lot of these things will still apply. So the first thing is that I know about Google Email, especially with Calendar and Classroom, is that you get a lot of emails. So here is our sort of generic upper school student account that we make as a test run. And you can see that this has almost 2,000 unread emails, which can be a little overwhelming. And then you just have all this lines and lines and lines and lines and lines. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks to sort of calm that down, make it a little bit more understandable. So the first thing you want to do that I like doing, you don't have to, is I like to be able to read the email here without having to click on every single email separately. So the way that you do that is you go to Settings, which is right up here, and you're going to get this drop-down menu. This is on a computer. This on a tablet. Some tablets are already set up for this. Some phones you can't really because the screen isn't big enough. But if you're using a computer or a Chromebook or anything like that, this is what you can do. Scroll down here until you find Reading Pane. And what we have now is no reading pane at all. So it's just this lines and lines and lines of emails. What I like to do is go right of Inbox, and I'll click on this option. And it'll be like, okay, to turn it on, you have to reload. Just click Reload right there. And now you have something a little bit nicer where you have your still lines of emails, but now you can read them as you go and you don't need to open them all separately. So you'll have a bunch of class invites on the first day or two. You can just click Join right here, or you can use the codes that your teacher sent out. Once you've joined the class, you'll start to see assignments pop up, things like that. Sometimes students really like having all these things where your new assignment pops up and you can just go to it, but you're going to have a lot. You have a lot of classes. So what I recommend is that you look at your assignments on Google Classroom and you just use your email for things that are not going to be as easy to find on Google Classroom. The main thing that I want my students to be using this is you can use the search bar up here looking for comments. So comments mean that I either sent something to you as a class or I sent something to you individually. It might be feedback on an assignment. It might be information like, oh, there's a typo on this assignment. I want to make sure everyone sees that. So you can even just search comments up here. And when you search, you'll search here. You see announcements, things like that. One thing that you can also do is if you want to, like here's Mr. Hubble. If I want to see just his emails, you can click there. If you want to see something that's specifically to you, something that you haven't read yet, you've got all these nice advanced search options up here. Now, if I'm only saying comments are the things that I'm most concerned about, comments, and then of course emails that aren't from Classroom, so you can see that there's a couple here from not Classroom, it doesn't have the parentheses afterwards, I might want to save those. So in order to not have 1,000 unread emails, what I will often do is sort of clean it out at the beginning or end of the day. And the way that you do that is you click here so that you get all these emails. And basically they're saying, okay, are you ready to delete this? And it's going to be the first 50 that are accessible through this first page. And instead of deleting all of them, because again, some of them aren't from Classroom, some of them might be important, what you can go down is I'll select all of them. And then I can just deselect by clicking this box again, the ones that I don't want to delete. So I'm going to save the comments, I'm going to save the ones that are from actual teachers and not Classroom, and the rest of them that I've dealt with, either I've accepted the class invitation, you can see it's not bold, or new material and I know I can find that on Google Classroom. I'm just going to delete those and save the ones that I am worried about, so then you're not worried trying to go through every single email every single day, which can be a lot. Another nice thing that email lets you do is that it's linked to the calendar. So if I scoop back a second, you see there's these little icons over here. The one at the top is calendar, And you can just click that icon and it'll open your calendar here, and it will tell you what you have due and what your appointments might be. So here, the reason these are bold is because this student has accepted the class invitation here, and these ones they've been invited but haven't accepted yet. And these are really helpful because it can tell you, it's sort of like a to-do list. And if you have an appointment with a teacher or you have an office hours with a teacher, you can click on that. So let's say office hours Latin, I'm like, oh, I really need to talk to Dr. Burrows about my Latin assignment. You can click right there and it'll open up that office hour, and it'll usually have the Zoom meeting or however else you're supposed to get in touch with that teacher right there in the description, so you don't have to be going to 100 different places. You can do most things either in classroom or in email, and that's really how I recommend that you do that. And if you make an appointment, you'll get another alert like this with an invite, and you can just click on the button that says yes, and it'll go into this calendar over here. So I know this is a lot of information. I tried to go through it quickly. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments, or you can send me an email directly. I can't wait to work with you all this year. Bye.